2020 में अगर मैंने सरकार न बदली होती तो वो 6000
नहीं मिलेगा।
मुझे गर्मी से कोई चिंता नहीं, केवल घर से निकलने के पहले जैसे पुराने जमाने में सिखाया जाता था। सही है कि नहीं?
फूल का बटन दबाओगे, डब्बे पर दबाओगे, आप मेरे दिल के बटन को दबा रहे हो मेरे भाई और बहनों।
ये कहाँ ले जा रहे हैं?
Investment banker in his previous avatar, power minister in the UPA government, Union Minister for Civil Aviation and Steel, who's won the Guna seat multiple times, like his grandmother and father, losing the seat in 2019, but now contesting from the BJP ticket. Jyotiraditya Scindia, thank you so much for speaking to Brut.
Thank you for having us.
The BJP has been labelled a washing machine after a bunch of political leaders with investigations pending against them join the party. What impact do you think this has had on the BJP's image?
See, what the opposition doesn't understand is that if anyone with a tarnished image enters your party, it's fine. But if anyone with a tarnished image, so-called tarnished image, enters the BJP, then it's a washing machine. Anyone and everyone is welcome in the BJP. The law will take its own course. And if you're found guilty, the party will spare no one. There is a legal process that follows its own course, and there is a political process. And those two should not be merged. Because you're in a political party doesn't mean that the legal process will not go on.
The legal process will go on. Speaking of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi has said that it is his life's mission to now have a caste census. What are your views on the caste census?
The very party that opposed the caste census, the very party that opposed the Mandal Commission, and it was a non-Congress government that actually brought in the Mandal Commission, is now talking about caste census. The one thing that the Congress party needs to learn is that people are not fools. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but not all of the people all of the time. And the Congress party consistently speaks with a forked tongue. If there is someone that has helped the backward classes, the SCs and the STs, it is Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The largest proportion of SC, ST and OBC MPs are in this past tenure of the Lok Sabha. The largest proportion of SC, ST and OBC ministers is in the current cabinet. So I think the Congress party has a lot of introspection to do, and a party that is bankrupt on ideology, a party that is bankrupt on leadership, a party that is bankrupt on human resource, and a party that is probably bankrupted itself, has little to offer to the people of India.
You lost your seat from Guna in 2019. What are you doing consciously different this time in order to seal a victory?
Obviously, there were some failings on my part. If there weren't any failings on my part, then we would have not had that result. And I've tried to, over the last 4 to 5 years, consciously try and address whatever those shortcomings could possibly be. Number one. Number two, I have always maintained, and you heard me in my speech as well, that the most important thing for me in my life is my relationship with the people. And politics for me is not the end goal. The end goal is public service. And politics is a means towards achieving that end and not more than that. And therefore for me, that connection is most important. And even the 5 years that I was not officially a representative of the people, unofficially I still did everything possible in my capability. And you heard that in my speeches also, whether it was through medical service, whether it was through the Ola Vrishti, whether it was in the Baad, whether it was in Corona. My connection is one from the heart.
You started campaigning for your father when you were around 12, 13 years old. How has campaigning changed over a period of 40 years that you've been doing?
Oh, it's changed completely. It's changed tremendously. No infusion of technology whatsoever. Infrastructure was extremely rustic. Very few villages had roads, and therefore access was extremely difficult. Today, India is more like a developed country with tremendous infrastructure, whether it's roads, highways, trains, civil aviation, tremendous amount of development at the grassroots level in terms of with the Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana, access to every habitation across the country, electric supply, and also a tremendous amount of infusion of technology into the campaign. So whether it is social media, there's a tremendous amount of that dimension also that has come in, which was never the case before.
Because you mentioned infrastructure, the BJP manifesto focuses quite a bit on aviation. What kind of transformation can we expect in small towns receiving these new airports? Give us a sense of that.
See, I'll tell you, the whole paradigm has changed with regard to civil aviation. Earlier, the only raison d'etre for setting up an airport in a city was that it must present itself as either a tourism destination or as an investment destination. And only then can a case be made for an airport to be set up there. And so therefore, a city had to have potential for an airport to be set up. Today, only cities that have an airport would have the potential to develop as an ecosystem for economic value addition, whether it's through manufacturing, industry, or whether it is through tourism or otherwise. So the whole paradigm has flipped. And therefore you've seen the growth of airports in India under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which has been phenomenal. 74 airports in 65 years, and now including waterdromes and heliports, close to about 160, whether 159 odd.
The last time in your interview with us, and I quote, you had said, drones are a revolution whose time has come in India. You had said that India will be a global drone hub by 2030. How far have we reached there?
In many ways, the idea of a drone today is embedded in the psyche of every Indian across the length and breadth of our country. I dare ask you, but if you go to any wedding today, or if you go to any entertainment event, the one thing that you will always find there, which has become ubiquitous today, is a drone.
Right. The drone shots have to be there.
I'll tell you a story of about 7 days ago. I went to a village in Bamori, which is part of my constituency, and I addressed a gathering. And after that, I needed to use the facilities. So I went to this farmer's house, and kindly he allowed me to use his facilities, so I used his facilities. And then he said, 1 minute, I need you to wait. So I said, why? He said, I have the franchisee of a drone. And so he then took out not only the drone, he took out his whole vehicle. So he had a tempo. And that tempo was not powered by diesel. That tempo was an EV tempo. So a farmer in a village with an EV tempo, the shutters went up and the drone was in there. And all the equipment that needs to go to spray fertilizer and pesticides was inside the tempo. And he said, I've got the franchise, and guess what? So I said, what? So he said, I've got the license for operating the drone. From where? So I said, from where? So he said, from your MITS college in Gwalior, Madhav Institute of Technology and Sciences. We've set up a drone center there. It's a state government institution built by my ancestors. And so he learned piloting of drones in Gwalior from Bamori. Then went and got his tempo and his drone. And now he's setting up. I said, order mil gaye kya? He says, Saab, order mil gaye humko. करीब 100 किसान ने मेरे साथ बुक किया है. अब केवल ये फिटिंग की जरूरत है ड्रोन की, उसके बाद मेरा बिजनेस शुरू. And I'm talking about it in a village in Bamori. Forget about Bombay and Delhi and Calcutta and Bangalore and everywhere else. So there are 3 different segments of this, and all 3 segments are growing exponentially. Prime Minister has put together a scheme as part of our budgetary allocation, close to about 1,500 crores, which will be devoted to training our Namo drone didis. And so therefore close to about 5,000 women will be trained to fly drones.
In 60 seconds, why should young India vote for BJP? What is Scindia's guarantee?
The BJP guarantees you a vibrant India. The BJP guarantees you an Atmanirbhar Bharat. The BJP guarantees you an India that will become a Vishwaguru. The BJP guarantees you a partnership with 140 crore Indians to build on that dream of a self-reliant India and transform that into a reality under the leadership of Narendra Modi ji. Come, be part of this transformation of Mother India into a world leader under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the BJP. Come be part of this transformation. That is my plea to all young Indians across the country.
My last question is on a personal note. Could you give us a glimpse into what kind of a father you are? We were on the trail yesterday with your son on the campaign trail.
I'm a very proud father, and I hope he doesn't hear this. But at the same time, my wife and I both have tried very hard to inculcate in our children, my son and my daughter, very grounded values, very grounded beliefs, a good moral system, and most importantly, try to nurture them into good human beings. They're both of an age where they are adult human beings and they have to now find their own path and make their own decisions. We are there as guides and people who can give advice, but it is their karma which they have to achieve in their life.
Jyotiraditya Scindia, thank you so much for speaking to Brut.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Pleasure. As always.